Right, we're in the hothouse again today, as was my last video, so if you haven't seen that, I'd check that out. We were looking at the Thai giant, but today we've got some new plants arrived in the post, so we're going to have a look at them. And here we are. Right, so I'm not going to try and keep it short. I'm not going to go through all the usual. If you've watched any of my eBay purchase videos before, all the information will be on them. So this is from eBay. No Neck on eBay does palms and other unusual tropical style plants. We'll start with smallest to biggest. These are not all palms, we've got some other stuff here as well. So let's start with something that's not a palm. So this is always going to be the case of letting it focus in. So this is a cordyline, Neocaledonica, or something to that description. So it's sort of a subtropical cordyline. I ordered one, I got two, so fantastic. These are a really wide leaf cordyline, very similar maybe to the cordyline indivisa in shape. Yeah, quite a nice unusual looking cordyline. Like I say, not really, it won't really take a frost. So these are from New Caledonia, South Pacific. Very pretty looking plants if you Google it and look at a mature specimen. Very different to your normal sort of cordyline. And yeah, I thought I'd give that a go. These are obviously little seedlings. These were about £4 each or so. Obviously prices change as I have to put a disclaimer in that what I paid for them, you know, maybe in a month or so time prices may go up as they get bigger, I don't know. But yeah, so sort of rough prices at the time of purchase are always subject to change. Yeah, so that's an unusual one. And what have we got here? So this at the moment looks like a sort of little tuft of grass with red margins. I'm not very good with Latin names pronunciation, as you could probably tell, so I'm going to call it by the common name, screw pine. It's not a pine. It's I don't know, sort of describing it in layman's terms, sort of a trunkless cordyline looking plant, but quite different looking in a way. I'm not describing it very well, but either way, so this is going to have big lance leaves, and just a bit different to anything else we sort of normally grow in the UK. I think these were a little bit more pricey, so again I bought one, received two, so very happy with that. I think these are around £10 or £11, but they are, I've never seen them offered for sale before, so I thought I'd try one of them. Right, as I was putting the order in, there's always a couple of, you know, you're paying for postage anyway, let's just chuck a couple of cheapies in. And I'm sort of growing my sable minor or sable collection. So these are sable minors. So this one is sable minor Cherokee. Tough little sable minor apparently, so we're going to try that one. Quite a small one that. Again, this is £4 or £5, and the same with this one. This is a sable dominensis. So already sort of quite a nice blue colour on that, starting its third leaf. So all these ones in these little tiny pots, I am going to pot these up straight away. So yeah, they're just a couple of little sables which I thought I'd just bulk out the order with. Let's say for the cost of practically nothing. So this one's an interesting one. You can see it's got a sort of maroon coloured leaf. Quite a pretty little thing. This is an Areca Vesteria, yeah, maroon. Let's get that on there, so I'm probably not pronouncing it very well. Yeah, so this is a tropical palm, which a very tropical shape, and obviously the colour is very different to what you'd normally expect from a palm, with that sort of maroon leaf, which I'm sure fades down to an interesting green. Let's have a look at a more hardy palm. So I've done a video last week on some of the hardy palms I was growing. I thought to myself, I'm missing something here. When I was going through the Trachycarpus species I had, not that I'm trying to collect them all, but this one might be a good one. No, Trachycarpus martianus Nepal. So this is a variation on your standard martianus. So Nepal is the region it comes from, sort of high elevation, mountainous. It's supposed to be a bit more cold hardy, and also slightly smaller, compact, stiffer leaves. So it's a good variation to have. And we can already see on this, it's got a bit of a trunk going on it. We can see some of the unusual fibres around the trunk and petioles, sort of almost a orangey tinge to them. But yeah, this might be an interesting one if you want something a bit more unusual, but maybe decent cold tolerance. And now we've got, oh well, let's just say I think this was about £15. Don't quote me on this, but I think he had some smaller ones. This is no neck on eBay. Did have smaller ones. They may have sold out now, I don't know. But this is one of the bigger ones. I think the smaller ones may have been about £6 or £7. These ones obviously got a 3 or 4 inches of trunk on them, to be fair, and should romp away nicely once potted up. I think, yeah, about £15 that was. Right, so I like something a bit different, something a bit more tropical to, you know, so a lot of the standard palms, it might just be sort of a, you know, a standard green. This is quite a nice one. We can already see sort of a mottling to the leaves and a sort of almost bright orange vein to them. And I don't know if that's going to pick up on camera. It's got some black spines on the petioles and down to the trunk. So this is one I've actually thinking about. I have grown before, had it for a few years and killed it. So I think it's worth another try. It's such a pretty palm. This is Versifelta splendita. So this is one that I think almost lives in swamps where they have like the aerial roots. I think sometimes commonly called stilt palm or something like that. Yeah, sort of aerial roots, but that's a bit of a different looking one. and one I like a challenge. And even if I've tried a palm before, you can't base your whole experience on growing a palm on just one individual plant. So if you do lose one, I do like to try it again if it's something I really like. And that being said, we'll move on to the last one, which this may well be, I think it is my 4th attempt at this palm. So at the minute it's just a big strap leaf, well, 2 big strap leaves, white undertone. So you've probably guessed it if you're into palms. So this is Silver Joey. I'm not going to even attempt the name on that one. Bit of a mouthful. I've tried 2 standard Joeys and 1 other Silver Joey, and they do alright in the summer, but in the winter they sort of look like they're going to survive, and then end of winter they sort of give up and die. So I'm not stupid, I'm not going to try the same thing over and over again. Yes, this is the same palm, but I'm going to try different overwintering techniques this time, and hopefully we'll find something that works for this one, because it's an absolutely fantastic palm. Alright, so that is my little palm haul. I will say these ones aren't cheap, but they are. You won't buy these in the UK from anywhere else. I've never seen them for sale offered anywhere in the UK other than this particular seller on eBay. I think this may have been about £35, but again, some people might say, oh, that's a bit pricey. Well, is it? You know, the time it takes to germinate some palm seeds, you could be looking up to a year plus, and then to grow them to this size, I don't know, 2-3 years maybe. So what you could be looking at is a 4-year investment in time. So for me, 35 quid is a really good price. Right, so I'm not going to bore you with anything else. I mean, that is what it is. I mean, obviously, again, let me know if you're growing any of these more unusual palms, or anything similar. Let me know if you've got any really fussy palms which you have to overwinter, and what do you do to get them through winter. I'd be interested to know. I mean, what I tend to do is I've got a indoor greenhouse with grow lights, humidifier, and that's kept at a certain temperature, normally about 24 during the day, and allowed to drop to room temperature at night, around 18. But if you've got a surefire way of overwintering more challenging palms, let me know. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.